everyone, my name is Audrey and I would like to start out my presentation by having you all close your eyes. Now I'm going to say a few simple words and I want you to imagine a picture in your head from these few simple words. Ocean, Florida, and fun. Now as I can imagine, most of you are thinking about having fun on your vacation, sitting in a beach chair with the warm sun in your face, your toes dug into the sand, and the brief sound of waves crashing against the shore. Now, I would like you to open your eyes. When I hear these three words, this is what I see. When I think of the word ocean, I think of the vast part of the earth that takes up so much of it and how much is within it. Then, when I hear the word Florida, I think of the beautiful coral reefs that surround it. And when I hear fun, I think of all the fun and awesome things that I get to see and live with when I pursue my future career in marine biology. My entire purpose of today's presentation is diving deeper. And I've been able to do this with this quote that will basically set the stage for my presentation today. This quote is by Dave Barry. And this quote reads, "There's nothing wrong with enjoying looking at the surface of the ocean itself, except that when you finally see what goes on underwater, you realize you've been missing out on the entire point of the ocean." This quote sets the stage for what I'm presenting to you today. We will see how Kickapoo University has helped me look deeper into the ocean that is my life and further ensure that I am wanting and I am ready to become a marine biologist. From the Kickapoo University program, I have not only been able to obtain an amazing internship experience, I've also obtained 150 hours of volunteerism, and I've also obtained 30 credit hours of college credit, which completes my freshman year of college, and I'm not even out of high school yet. Basically, the Kickapoo University program is a program that prepares you for college and your life after high school. With this program, you're required to do job shadows, as you saw on the last slide, and when I started high school, I wanted to be a pharmacist. Now, I quickly learned through this job shadow that sitting behind a desk and counting pills all day was definitely not for me, as it would be for some others. I really want to be adventurous and I want to be able to go out and explore the world around me. So after a quick talk with my parents, I began to gather my interest: animals, biology, and the water. I also found this love through the swim team, and my junior year I began to gain more interest for the career of marine biology, and I took a trip from the SPS school system down to Pigeon Key, Florida in the Florida Keys. This picture of the Dry Tortugas National Park on top of Fort Jefferson is basically a beautiful picture to show you all the cool things that I got to see, and this trip definitely confirmed my passion for the ocean. Basically what a marine biologist does is they explore what is underneath the surface of the ocean. Now, they don't make a lot of money and you're definitely not in this career for the paycheck. With this, you do need a master's degree, and this may sound like something that is pretty repetitive, but with the master's degree, you're able to do all kinds of things throughout this career. Most of this career has to do with lab work, writing reports, but you also do get to do hands-on things within the ocean in things like data collection and counts and specimen collections. So really being able to be a part of the marine biology field is very hands-on, very adventurous, and it also teaches you a lot about the world around you. I would like to go into a field called elasmobranchology. It's basically the study of sharks and stingrays, which are really interesting creatures to me. Also, I wouldn't mind exploring the world of coral if it was really necessary, but I really have a passion for sharks and stingrays, as you can see in these two pictures. These two pictures are also from my marine science trip down to the Keys. I also really don't want to work with cold water animals. I'd really rather work with warm water sharks and rays, and be in the Caribbean, Florida environment just because of the environment that lives underneath the surface of the ocean. And I'd like to do more conservation versus just research to see what kind of things impact our oceans and how I can find ways to fix it and how I can work with others to basically come up with a better ecosystem and better ways to preserve our oceans. Now, I will kind of take you into my internship experience. I had an amazing internship experience at Wonders of Wildlife in their education department. It's just on the other side of the new museum that they're building. Most of my projects actually did have to do with this museum, and you'll see a couple of those projects in a minute. But I also was able to help in the classes that they teach at the education center. There were 5th grade classes as well as college classes. This picture here is me making embers. I actually made embers from a survival class that they teach. It's actually one of MSU's classes that they teach over at Bass Pro. So I'm definitely not only learning marine science skills and research skills and things like that, but I'm also getting to sit into these awesome classes and even instruct some of these classes. Whoops. I also am making education tools for the museum. So that was my first project. I was basically making a project or a hands-on activity that a child or a student was able to do when they're within the museum. It basically links a certain species to the project that we're trying to correspond. Basically helps the student remember certain facts or issues that happen with that certain species. Then the species cards are actually the cards that you read when you walk up to an exhibit. You're able to read just a couple facts about that certain animal, and I made most of those throughout the museum as well. And then for my favorite project was the shell project. As you guys know, the museum was, they stopped construction a while back, and they had stored everything that they had planned on putting into the museum. And I actually had the pleasure of unboxing about 3 humongous cratefuls of creatures, shells, corals, anything that you can think of, it was probably in this. They were awesome. Just a few of my favorite things were this nurse shark replica on the right, the puffer fish, the seahorse, but basically now that entire room is full of just shells and anything that you can think of. Now I'm in the process of categorizing it, so I'm learning about all these things that have come out of these boxes. I'm learning information about them and what they are, what their function is in the ocean. And I've learned so much from just this project alone, not even my entire internship, but this project is pretty much my favorite thing, favorite project that I've been able to do. Then I've also been sitting into animal handling classes at the Wonders of Wildlife Education Department as well. Here I have been able to interact with some of the coolest animals. On the top left you have a screech owl, right is a Madagascar hissing cockroach, bottom left is going to be a box turtle, and on the right is a speckled king snake, and I have a fear of snakes, so that was definitely something that took getting used to, but now I'm very comfortable with holding these animals, and I really think that it prepared me for holding animals and interacting with animals in my future career. And then my favorite part about my internship was aquatic holding. This is where they hold the animals for the museum. This shark in particular, it's a black-tip reef shark. She decided to eat all of her tank mates, so she's in aquatic holding right now. They're trying to teach her how to not do that, basically. And so what they're doing is they're using a strategy called shape feeding. What they do is they basically put their food on a pole with a certain shape. Hers is a triangle, and then her tank mate, a sand tiger shark, she has a circle on hers. So whenever the triangle enters the water, it's her time to feed, and when the circle enters the water, it's the sand tiger's turn to feed. They'll use this strategy also within the museum, but I just think it's so cool to be able to see the progress that this shark and all the other fish in aquatic holding are making. It's so cool to go in there, because every time I've gone in there, they're feeding, and that's one of my favorite experiences, because in the middle of Missouri, you really don't get to see sharks being fed or mahi-mahi being fed, and so it's a really cool experience that I've got to be a part of. And I was also recognized in the Springfield Newsleader for my internship. This was one of the biggest honors that I could have had from the Kickapoo University program. Basically, being recognized in the newsleader is amazing, and being a part of my internship was amazing. So I'm just very grateful for this and being able to make such a unique career happen in the middle of the country. I have not decided on a school yet. These are my top 4 schools. I have been accepted to 2 of the 4, and I am currently just kind of waiting on a decision for myself. But they all have highly ranked marine science programs, and I plan on majoring in marine science, second majoring in biology, and getting a minor in chemistry. If I end up in Miami or Tampa or St. Petersburg, I will probably be minoring in Spanish as well. I would just like to give a thank you to my mom and dad, who have been my biggest support system through this all. Also the family and friends that have kind of had my high school journey with me. Mr. Coffey for creating this Kickapoo University program and making this such an awesome experience for all of us to have. Wonders of Wildlife for even having me. It took numerous phone calls from Mr. Coffey until they even accepted me, him bugging them constantly saying, this girl needs an internship. So I'm so thankful for them actually giving me the opportunity to be a part of their program, and Kickapoo University, for obvious reasons, letting me be a marine biologist in the middle of the country. I would like to leave you with just a few simple lines to make sure that this presentation and my impact on what I want to do in my future. I want you to be sure of yourself, to come out of your shell, to take time to coast, to avoid peer pressure, to see life's beauty, to don't get tied down, and to make waves. Thank you.